Tamil Nadu is on the east coast of peninsular India. This state has been a great cradle of Indian culture, and many ancient traditions of dance, music, architecture and lifestyle continue and flourish here till today. Temples were made out of hard and lasting granite in Tamil Nadu. There is an amazing continuity seen in the styles of temple building here, from Pallava times in the 7th century, through the rule of the Cholas and the Nayaks, up to the Maratha period in the 19th century. This makes this region unique in the country. At Narthamalai, located on top of a hill amidst the great beauty of nature, is a 9th century temple. An inscription names it as the Vijayalaya Cholishwara temple. It may have been made by Vijayalaya Chola or by the Muttarya chieftains before his rule. The temple is dedicated to Shiva. The temple is made with a jewel-like perfection. The temple itself and every sculpture on it serve to take us away from mundane concerns to a world filled with a sense of grace. In the beginning of the 11th century, we see a dramatic change of emphasis and scale in temple building. In the year 1010, Rajaraja Chola completed the tallest and largest temple which had ever been made in India. The Brihadishvara, dedicated to the great Lord Shiva, was made to express his own power and military might as much as the grandeur of the Lord. The temple is 5 times the size of previous Chola ones, and its Vimana or tower stands 216 feet tall. Its monolithic stupi or crowning element weighs 80 tons. It is believed that an earthen ramp 6 kilometers long was made to take it up to its position. Rajaraja had greatly expanded his empire in all directions, including to the island of Sri Lanka. The temple was made to celebrate his achievements.
Thereafter, temple architecture is reduced in scale. Brick is used then for the towers, but the gateways start to emerge as the dominant architectural characteristics. If you go to Chidambaram, for example, which is the famous temple of dancing Shiva, there you will see 4 immense gateways, or gopuras as they're called in the Tamil zone. These date from the 12th and possibly the early 13th century. These are higher and more impressive pieces of architecture than the actual sanctuary of the temple itself, which is rather like a hut built of wood and covered with metallic tiles. And so it goes into later Chola architecture like Dharasuram. The towered sanctuary is not as impressive as the gateways.
Further developments of the temple complex occurred under the Vijayanagara kings, who ruled from the capital at Hampi in present-day Karnataka. In the 16th century, monumental temples were constructed under them in a style which became characteristic of Vijayanagar. Imposing gateway towers were made, which were much taller than those above the shrines. These were visible from afar and reflected imperial magnificence as well as the grandeur of the divine. One of the greatest achievements of the Nayak period is the making of the Meenakshi temple at Madurai. It is one of the largest temples ever made and was created in the reign of Tirumalaya Nayak in the mid-17th century. The complex is built around two shrines. One is dedicated to Shiva as Sundareshwara, the beautiful Lord. The other is dedicated to his spouse Parvati as Meenakshi, the fish-eyed one.
At Srirangam, we have this complete succession of towered gates leading all the way into the innermost sanctuary, which is quite a modest structure. But the gates are absolutely enormous structures. In fact, the largest of them was left unfinished in the 17th century and only completed in about 1985. And I think it's almost the tallest towered building that we have in the Tamil area. So this tradition of gigantic architecture is relocated to the peripheries of the temple zone, to the gates. So you have these diminishing towers as you proceed into the temple. The towers get lower and lower until you reach the most sacred spot, which can be quite modest architecturally, like at Srirangam, where the sanctuary which accommodates the reclining form of Vishnu is covered just with a little barrel vaulted roof, but of course it's gilded, so it looks very special.
In the great temple cities of South India, the grandeur of the Lord is celebrated in all aspects of life. Tamil Nadu is a land where ancient practices continue till today in an unbroken tradition. A land where the divine essence of our lives is never forgotten, even in the midst of the daily concerns of life.